Yes, any questions for Catherine or Tom? Yes, Tom.
Chair. Yeah, I was reading this morning in the paper that the Norte Sewer connection between the airport and the Tucson Mall, is that a city of Tucson centric, you know, their Department of Transportation and Mobility? Is that a project central to the city of Tucson? Has it expanded out to the region? Is it going to be part of RTA or RTA next? Do we know?
Those are a lot of questions.
Okay.
I believe it's.
We don't know if it will be part of the plan that's been put together yet. I do understand that it is one of the city's proposed major projects.
Okay.
I know that they're out in public input right now
Right.
on the project, but they have proposed it as a potential project to be considered.
Okay. Thanks, Tom.
Any other questions? If not, thank you, Catherine and Tom, for excellent presentations.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is topics for future meetings. So does anyone have anything they'd like to suggest at this point? If not, make sure if you come up with one that you get it into Annabelle by the 24th so that we can have preparations for the next meeting. Yes,
Chair,
John.
I may have, or maybe it's a question to begin with. Where are we in the budgeting process for next year, next fiscal year?
Hello, Mr. Chair and Mr. Bonall. So our budget has been presented to our county finance, and we will be presenting our budgets to the Board of Supervisors. I believe at May 11th is when Public Works does theirs. And then they will vote the tentative approval in June, and then later on in August to approval. But our budget is pretty much complete at this point, and we'll do our presentation on May 11th.
Mr. Chairman, given that, I think it would be interesting to this group to get
Yes.
that same budget presentation.
Yes, that would be great if we could do that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you. And thanks, John. Okay. Any others? Otherwise, let's go to the call to the audience. We have three people who have brought some issues forward. We'll start with the first person on my list here, David Bricklin. Is David on the line?
Yes, that's me.
David, go ahead. We're happy to hear from you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a cyclist, and I think the cycling community has benefited tremendously by some of your paving projects. I suspect you do it primarily for the motoring public, but I want to let you know that there's great benefits for us as well. I live up in the foothills. I used to have to come down Campbell to get down to the loop.
Hello. Mr. Birkin, you're down to 30 seconds. 30 seconds to go, sir.
Yeah, there's a 45 mile an hour speed limit on that stretch of road. The pavement doesn't even go out to the fog line, it points in the fog line of the road, at least in the prior position, chipped away. There's no shower sign to alert motorists that cyclists will be using this. There's no watch out for cyclist sign, and it's really a very hazardous road for cyclists. And with just a little bit of effort, there's a couple of feet more pavement, it could be a very safe and much safer alternative than being out on Sunrise. I suggested, is there a possibility of narrowing, when you take the fog line off, you narrow the roadway width a little? But I also know that there's usually some discretion allowed for deviations from the standard widths, and so I'm requesting the county to give some consideration when you repaint the lines in that area to narrow the traffic lane a couple of feet, which would give a little bit of opportunity for cyclists to, have a little bit of pavement between the bottom line and the edge of the pavement.
Thank you, Mr. Brickley.
Yeah, yeah.
I assume this is a volunteer committee. I really appreciate all you folks putting time for this on a volunteer basis.
And David, thank you for your time. I actually underlined in your the submission, could you repaint the fog lines? I don't know, all of this will be considered by staff, and we'll get back to you on it. It's also recorded in our minutes for the next meeting, so we'll see it also. So thank you for stepping forward. We really appreciate it. And if you have an issue in the future, please let us know. Thank you. Okay, is Barry Weiss on the phone?
Yes, he is.
Okay, Barry. We do.
I have 45 minutes trying to get on through WebEx.
Okay, well, sorry it took so long. Please be aware it's about 3 minutes that you have, okay? Please go ahead.
Okay. All right, well, I guess I wanted to talk about the Skyline segment also. We live up in the foothills north of the Skyline segment there, and the only way we can leave our home on a bicycle to get to the loop or get anywhere else in town is to ride on that for some portion of the road. And it's always been kind of scary because it's narrow, there's lots of speed, lots of bumps and potholes in it, so now it's been repaved, but it's still really narrow. And cars can't see, cars are going up and down over the rolling hills, and they see bicyclists, they can't just suddenly move to the left because there might be an oncoming car. And it's gotten so scary that we don't ride on the road anymore, we drive to ride our bicycles somewhere else. And I know multiple people in my neighborhood have the same concern. And one obvious short-term solution until such time as you can widen the road or build a bike path on the side, because I'm told the land on the side is public easement, and you couldn't do that. Someone told me that a couple of years ago. The speed limit on that road is 45 miles an hour. If you ride on Craig Road north of the river, it's a 4-lane divided highway, 45 miles an hour. You ride on Sabino Canyon Road north of Tanca Verde, it's 4-lane divided highway, 40 miles an hour. You ride on River Road, which is kind of a curvy road, it has a shoulder, 35 miles an hour. Why is the speed limit on Skyline 45 miles an hour? The cars can't do that the way bicyclists, and there's no shoulder for bicyclists to ride on. And so I suggest, obviously you can't widen the road today because you just looked on it, and you can't build a bike path tomorrow. But in the short term, how about making that speed limit something reasonable? Those other examples just show you that it's just not. And again, the cars are going to go faster now than the speed now that the road's been paved. So if that, you look at other roads around, maybe a 35 mile an hour speed limit, plus, like the previous speaker said, some signs of where people with bicycles, so it's right on the road. You really increase the safety and maybe make people in the neighborhood more likely to use the road instead of having to drive a car 5 miles to get to the loop.
Thank you, Barry. As a bicyclist, I completely understand everything you said. Actually, one of the main arteries, there was a reduction of 5 miles per hour on Ironwood Ridge Road recently. I don't know for all the reasons behind that, but the points you made are well placed. Again, staff will review your comments and will prepare a response. Thank you very much for stepping forward. These are important. These are all safety issues. I tend to put my bike on the back of the car to go to the loop. It is not completely safe out there in many cases, so anyway.
We're a bicycle-friendly community.
We are. Yeah. And we're one of the best in the country, so we do appreciate your comments, and thank you for stepping forward. Okay, let's go to the next card. John Kaiser, is John on the line? Yes, we can. Go ahead.
I live also north of that little stretch of skyline between Swan and Sunrise that was just repaved. And we were actually pretty surprised and disappointed to see that when it was repaved, which is great, it needed to be repaved, but there were no bike lanes added. That was really a surprise because it seemed like a perfect time to solve this problem. Like Barry and David have said, we use this all the time to get down to the loop or get to Swan or get out of our subdivision for an outfit estates. And I don't know what the process is, but we really appreciate bike lanes being added to this stretch because it's quite dicey with very little margin. This often forces us to choose to put bikes on a vehicle instead of riding, so we're kind of messing with the effect of trying to get off the, reduce the use of our cars. And we are taxpayers, we drive and we cycle, so we can kind of see both sides of it. It is a dangerous stretch when people come up behind cyclists and they swerve around them and it's close to oncoming traffic. There's just not enough room. And I'd really like to be able to have my bike on an ideal bike lane. So it's also even riskier when it's sunrise and sunset time, where drivers are getting blinded in one direction or the other. There's been a couple times I've had some close calls there, and it's dangerous. So I appreciate anything you can do to put this in the queue to make some improvements. And thank you for the consideration to hear us, and appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you, John, and we appreciate your stepping forward also, and we will have a response. And the only way we know about these things is if people step forward, so thank you very much for your time and for your submission. Juanita, do we have any other people on the line? Okay. If not, the next meeting will be May 24th. We're planning on having it here. This venue is absolutely super. It's what we used before the pandemic. There is a question of whether we need to have it virtual or not, or just have it live. There is room in the back for the audience or any people to come and make their presentations. It's a separate space at the podium. We could pull it back. I will say, to my knowledge, it is a lot of work. You can see the extra equipment for the staff to set this up for virtual also. It's a nice thing to be able to offer to the public, but the other side of it is the county board meetings are open now and so forth. So I brought my mask so when we're in crowded areas, I use it. But this is pretty spaced out. Any event, could we have some comments from committee members as to whether we can just go live next time?
Mr. Chairman, perhaps the people online can tell us how they feel. I'm good with being here, obviously.
Tom, how do you feel about that? You're online.
Yeah, I much prefer being in person. Turned out that I was not able to join today, so the ability to maintain a quorum in some ways was a result of this being a hybrid. So I can see it's a lot of work, obviously, to maintain it, but I think at least for a few more months, perhaps, it would be a good idea if we continue this hybrid arrangement.
Other thoughts around the table? Yes, Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Ed.
We have Tom at the moment, but we'll get to you in just a second. Go ahead, Tom.
So I'm all for in-person meetings. So the virtual aspect of it, the one key I think we miss is a lot of our residents of Pima County don't necessarily have this time to get off work or do whatever they're doing to come down here. So, you know, we hear that, you know, from people watching the Board of Supervisors meeting, or some of the meetings like the City of Tucson, they've moved their meetings to the evening where they can have more of a in-person presence. So, you know, I don't want to move this till 5 or 6 o'clock at night for sure, but that virtual aspect for the public anyways would probably be a good thing to keep going, especially on the YouTube feed. But for the committee members, I think in person would probably be the best.
Okay, and the point that was made earlier, we did attain a quorum today because we had virtual. Tom, did you have something else, or is this something, I think Michelle's on? Go ahead.
No, no problem. The same thing happened to me this morning. I was called into a work Zoom meeting last minute, so I wasn't able to come and attend in person because I wouldn't have travel time. So I know the convenience was there, and it gave us the ability again, as Tom said, to have a forum for today. And I also do believe that having this convenience for our public to be able to log in if they are, I believe it's very important for this also. I believe it's very important.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. Other comments? Okay, for now.
I would just like to add that I think I would personally like to be in person. The location for me, that down in the sports complex area is takes more travel time for me, and I'm coming from the Northwest most of the time. But so it's a drive. If the meeting could be in the downtown area, that would be great. I do prefer being in person to all, but I also agree with the sentiment regarding those who can't necessarily come because of work or whatever, for community participation, perhaps having, maintaining that hybrid model so that we can get community participation.
Given the, okay, thanks. I think what we're going to do, given the input, is continue to encourage people to attend, but continue the virtual so that we, first off, pick up the benefit of having a quorum if we need it. But secondly, and very importantly, because this is a Citizens Advisory Committee, that we hear from the public. And if it allows the public some entree that they might not have, and we can reconsider in another couple of months, so, and see how it goes. Everybody good with that? Very well. I will entertain a motion. Okay, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Tom? John, second? All in favor? By unanimous opinion. Okay, thank you.